It's actually really easy to type on this thing. I don't know what people are talking about.
Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about a device that's a little bit near and dear to me. I don't get attached to too many things from the past. There are a lot of things that interest me, but not a lot that I really get attached to. But this is something that I've hung on to and I'll probably always hang on to. It's loud. My Targus case that I bought for this thing, because I don't think there was a case for it, in 1997. When the Compaq C140 was released. I got one of the first ones that were made, and I think it's actually a pretty neat device. This is a Windows CE device that again was released in 1997. And when I bought this device, I was several years into heavily working with computers. I had been coding in basic C, C++, and I got this device not only to play around with, but to write code on, and it really did do the job. As a sophomore in high school in 1997, I thought it was pretty cool to own this thing. Now, the only way that I was actually able to purchase this device was that Office Depot was actually running kind of a super sale on this, some sort of promotion in order just to get people into the store, I think, because they were offering it for $100, and it was actually released at something like a $430 price point. So $100 was obviously substantially under that. It was less than 25% of the cost, and I went to Office Depot to purchase one of these, and of course they didn't have any for me to purchase. They didn't have nearly enough, but they did have a waiting list. I got on that waiting list and I checked in at that store often, too many times. Eventually, the store clerk had pity on me, and he actually just gave me one that they had in stock that somebody hadn't come in to pick up. And had he not done that, I wouldn't have gotten one of these, because there was no way that they were going to get as many of these in as they had people on the list wanting them for $100. If we fast forward to today, I probably wouldn't have taken the device. I would have just allowed them to give it to the next person on the list and waited my turn. But back in 1997, I was absolutely just amazed by technology and programming and just everything about the advancement of technology that was happening in the from the early 90s into the late 90s. Really was a fascinating time for me. So I went ahead and took the device, and it was really, really cool. Now, as a general computing device, and you just want to do basic things on here, you're a businessman or whatever, I don't know how well it would have performed for you, but for somebody who was definitely tech savvy and wanted something to write code on and also play games on and things like that, this was actually a really cool device. So let's take a look at it. So again, it was around the $400 price point. It had a 40 megahertz processor, 4 megs of RAM, and 4 megs of ROM. You could upgrade the RAM to 6 megs, but I never did that. A lot of the programs, including the operating system, ran out of the ROM. I believe the basic, like Pocket Excel, Pocket Word, those ran out of the ROM. So this device booted very fast and worked very quickly as well. That's what I think. One of the really cool things about this is, although it's very limited in terms of what it can do, it did do the things that it was supposed to do very fast. So that's the basic device. It was a touch screen. I imagine that's what this was for. So it came with a built-in stylus, which is pretty cool. You didn't need it to use the touch screen, but it did do a really good job. For a lot of things, it was better than your finger, and so that's kind of neat. Let's close it up here. take a look. It's actually really lightweight. If I compare it to my, let's say, iPhone here, it's actually maybe only, switch hands, I'm gonna say about 1.5 times the weight of my iPhone. So that's actually pretty impressive. One thing that was really cool about this device, if I unlock this, I can eject the PCMCIA holder. Okay, so I didn't have a PCMCIA card in this, but I can, it was set up for PCMCIA, so you could put in a modem or whatever. And what I really liked was it ran on 2 AA batteries, which are in here, and in that way you didn't have to wait for it to charge. So that was pretty cool. We have a CMOS battery in here as well. It had the ability to communicate through infrared, so you could upload through infrared. Here's a little contrast style. And what I used mostly was this serial port, which used this serial cable. Had 9-pin serial for your computer side to upload files and software, and you could plug in this serial end, and you could use the PC Companion software that came with it to upload files through serial. So that's how I got all the software on there. Had a basic compiler and a C compiler, as well as some games. Pocket Backgammon being one of my favorites. I remember doing that with my friends in driver's ed as a 15-year-old. So pretty cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and actually take a look at, we'll start this thing up because it still runs perfectly. You know, I took pretty good care of this. Let's lock that up. I took pretty good care of this over the years. I used it for quite a few years actually. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and boot this device. This is going to boot from a full shutdown. So we'll turn it on and we see some of those beautiful Windows clouds on startup, and then we see the desktop, and we should have our icons load shortly, and it has a fast boot time. It works precisely like Windows should work. It has a start menu. This particular device does have a backlight here, so I'll press that. I have to press it very carefully on this one, otherwise it might shut down the device. So it is a little sensitive at this point. Hopefully we don't see a lot of scan lines in the background with this light on, but we can open up our applications here. Let's just open up Pocket Excel. Everything's named Pocket. Pocket Excel, Pocket Word, Pocket Backgammon, Pocket C for C programming. It responds pretty well to the finger or to the stylus, and it works quickly. It does a good job of many of the things that it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to do a lot, but it has most of the built-in apps that you want for organization, what you're used to with Windows. And it really did the job for me back in the day. Now I imagine if you had to pay $400+ for this, you wouldn't have been as impressed with it. As a $100 item, it was game-changing for me at the time. And so I really think it's kind of a cool device to revisit. For how small that this device was, for how long it lasted on the built-in batteries, and for what it would do, 40 megahertz processor, not too bad for 1997, especially when you're running Windows CE. You know, it really did a good job. So I was always impressed with the device. This is something that's near and dear to me. We'll go ahead and shut it off here, close it up, take one last look at this device, and we'll call it a day. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this device. If you have any questions about it, you know, leave them in the comments, but I really do enjoy taking a look at some of these things that define the way that I look at computing and really influenced me in terms of the path that I took in my life. This is definitely one of those devices, definitely one of those things that got me really, really excited. And I just wanted to share that with you. So that's about it.
Hey there. You should subscribe or send me an email. And as soon as I get a modem in this thing, I'll email you back.